LadyChann. Fight.
Kaboom! Yo, how you girl? It's LadyChann, rep nonetheless, and welcome to Come Box with Chan. What up, girl? Apologies for my tardy behaviour. Sorry. We've got an amazing special guest that I'm so excited to have, but we'll do the usual routine. Let's do the members only roll call. And I hope you guys have had a great day. Okay, the banner. I'll do the banner afterwards, but that's the social media handles, and I'll do the banner afterwards. So we've got Andrew H in the bootism, Mark King Boxing in the bootism, Don Juan in the bootism, Ben Adams in the bootism, Stephen T in the bootism, ERF Boxing in the bootism, Mark in the bootism, Slim Boxing Commentary in the bootism, Mark Niggity Nash in the bootism, Dub Rightside in the bootism, R to the left in the bootism, D-Star Boxing in the bootism, Devil Beats in the bootism, Jimmy McClenley in the bootism, Ringside Reporter Live in the bootism, Queen Lisa Bales in the bootism, AJL Day in the bootism, Charlo in the bootism, King TJ RIP in the bootism, Dr. P in the bootism, Upload Type El Primero Ya Tu Sabes in the bootism, Ricky Ricardo Mi Hermano in the bootism, King Boxing without LadyChann in the bootism, King. Oh, I said you already. Oh, we give you another one without LadyChann. In the bootism, Pitbull in the bootism, Boxing God in the bootism, Zara in the bootism, Sports Heaven in the bootism. What up, King? Don Juani and Ahmed in the bootism. Hector Garcia, mi esposo número uno, in the bootism. Xander in the bootism. Donald Banks DB in the bootism. And Con Shawnery in the bootism. Shouts out to the members. If you would like to become a member of the LadyChann Shannaholics, you know what to do. Go to the main page and click the join. Just for a little subscription fee. Nothing too hefty. You spend it on McDonald's anyway. And now let me do this banner so I can... We got a special guest in the building. Okay, so banner. Calm down, Shan. Okay, yeah, we can get rid of that one. And then we can have... there we go. There we go. That's it. Kaboom! Excited, right? I can see you guys following, filtering through. So let's, without further ado, let's get the guests in. I'm introducing, introducing, introducing. Definitely Hall of Famer. We don't have to be self-proclaimers because this is a fact. We deal with facts, stats, and data. Been one of the most legendary referees in the game, in the bootism. It's Jack Reíss. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, sir.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for that great introduction, too. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's more than welcome. It's all facts. It's all facts. You've refereed some great fights, and that's what we want to talk about, like your navigation through the sport of boxing, and you know. Can I just ask you this off the cuff? Other than boxing, do you have another favorite sport at all?
Yeah, it'd have to be ice hockey.
Oh, ice hockey! You like it? What are you? Do you go up to Canada and watch, or do you just do it? Do you watch it from here? Do you go to the games at all? Because that's a Canadian one.
All the above, but nothing anymore. Just go to games. I played when I was a kid, and there was a lot of fighting, so I kept thinking a boxing match was going to break out, so I loved it.
And that's like, look where you ended up. So yeah, I guess so. You like that? You like the bit of the rough sports there? That's rough. Ice hockey's rough. Yeah, that's mad rough. Okay, so we are here. So what I would like to ask you is, how did you get into the sport of boxing? For one, did you ever box? Was you ever amateur pro? I know I should have did my due diligence in that, but sometimes I just like to off the cusp, and it's more natural to have those conversations.
Yes, I was an amateur fighter. I wasn't very good, and I wanted to stay with the sport, and I pursued, the refereeing, or, being an NFL ref or a judge. But I got a good amateur background. I was a full contact kickboxer also, and again, not very good. So I thought I would try my hand on ref, and I always wanted to do it. But I don't know if this happens to you, and fans will understand this. I wanted to do it as a young guy, but I always talked myself out of it, thinking, "Oh, they'll never accept me. I'll never be able to get in." And then as I got in my 30s, I said, "I'm going to try it," and it all worked out.
That's what I wanted to know. What is the protocol? What's the procedure of how to become a ref?
That's a big problem we have in boxing today, and MMA as well. In other major league sports like soccer and baseball and football, or you call soccer football as well, there's only one single entry point. There's an organization that runs the whole deal, and to get into it, you have to go through that door. Well, in boxing, unfortunately, and MMA, it's easier. It's not as good in the sense, because you could be somebody's friend, you could be somebody important's nephew or son, and they're going to open doors for you. And because of it, we have a lot of unqualified referees and judges. And that's why the fans, rightfully so, get so upset with some of these decisions and some of the calls that some of the referees are making.
So basically what you're saying is there's no protocol. There's no like ref school. There's no
There actually is a ref school, and I actually created it, one of them. But it really takes years. This is a craft. Like martial arts is a craft, and you got to really work at it. And in today's society, people want their 15 minutes, and they're not willing to work at it. And boxing is, Teddy Atlas coined this. It's the torture of doom. It's the dungeon of doom, because if you're not real in boxing, whatever position you're holding, whether it's a trainer, a cut man, a fighter, a ref, you're going to get exposed sooner or later. And with us, anybody can walk around a ring, but it's when things happen, we got to perform in the proper way.
Yeah. So is there the Sweet Science manual? Well, you're going to read the Marcus of Queensbury. You know that, I would assume, off the back of your hand. I hope.
Absolutely. But we do have an organization, a really good organization that recognized there were, there's a lot of countries involved with boxing, and each and every state in the United States has their own commission. They all have their own similar, but there are different rules that they all have. So to make it unified, the Association of Boxing Commission sat down with a group of people, and they came up with the unified rules of boxing that we use for world championship fights. I'm fortunate enough to be part of this as one of the certified referee instructors, and I travel around. I'll be going, if you have fans that are listening that are officials that are going to the World Boxing Organization convention this year in the Dominican Republic, I'll be teaching the seminar for the WBO and the ABC at that one. And like I said,
what date is that on for the WBO in Dominicano?
It's in October. It's in October. I can't remember the exact dates. If they go to the ABC, or more importantly, the WBO website, it'll tell the dates of the convention. And if I can give a plug, I have a school. It's a 3-day course, and it's for anybody who wants a fantasy camp, or if they're an official that's just getting started out and they want to raise their level, or even some older officials been around for a while and they want to look at things from a different perspective and be tested. Please, as well as you, LadyChann, check out our website. You'll understand everything going on. It's solarbiter.com. SOLEARBITER.com.
SOLEARBITER.
Soul Arbiter. In the ring, we're dubbed as the Soul Arbiter. We're the one that makes the final judgment. So I called the course Soul Arbiter, elite
Yeah.
boxing referee training. And I've got some great guys helping me in this program. You guys are familiar with one of the best referees in the world that Las Vegas had for a while, Russell Mora, and in
Yeah.
California as well, Thomas Taylor and
Yeah.
Ed Calantes. We usually put about 50 people at a time through this thing. And the comments we get back are it's like drinking through a fire hose because there's so much information coming at them, they can't take it all in. But, you know, they keep coming back and we'll see what happens. But thank you for letting me plug that.
Oh, that's fine. That's it there.
That's it right there.
Kaboom. Yep. Guys, you know where to find that. Go and do your due diligence and head over to that website. I definitely will. And yeah, no, that's brilliant. So have you got a referee mate that, have you got referees that, let me ask, because I always ask the tough questions that people like that know the answers to, but may not get to ask. Is there referees that you just like when you see him being booked for a fight, you're like, oh God, not him?
Of course, there's lots of them. In fact, there's guys that, so I'll give you a great example. Just say I'm going to make it up. Say I spend 10 hours a month on boxing, because it's not a full-time job. You can't make a living doing it. But say I spend 10 hours a month on boxing. If I'm spending 9.5 hours of that time marketing myself to get better, to get fights, and 30 minutes trying to improve, that's not the formula. It's the other way around. It should be about 9.5 hours a month and on improving yourself, and 30 minutes, trying to get fights and networking and stuff like that. And you could see fights on TV where the referees hesitate and they make these wild ass calls, and you could see they weren't prepared for the moment, and they're exposed. They're exposed for really not belonging there. Yeah,
I've seen a few. There's a Howard Foster gets on my nerves. He gets on my nerves a bit.
I love Howard. I can't tell you, I love how we've worked together. You can hate whatever you want. Howard's been around a long time. He's done a lot of time.
But yeah, he's a bit annoying though. But do you know what I find with the British refs, which I'm seeing a lot? The early stoppages, the premature stoppages. I do see it with the US judges. I mean, refs more and more. But definitely, I think the UK is being known as, when you have a fight in the UK, the ref is there's always a premature, like AJ and Carlos Takam premature stoppage. I mean, there's so many. There was one.
Who was the ref that stopped that one?
I'm not sure. It could have been bloody. I wonder if it was Howard.
Look it up. I can look it up.
Yeah.
Chan, I got to tell you something. There's an art, the craft to this thing, and it might have been the right stoppage, but the referee didn't set it up properly. The referee was seeing things that he has to communicate that to you with his body language and by the things he does or she does to let everybody know this is coming. It's no different when you go in your mom's house and you could smell that food and you're ready to eat, but she says, not yet. And then all of a sudden she says, set the table, and you know the food's coming. We got to set the table. So sometimes the refs don't set the table properly.
Yeah, and that's it. And going back to just the fight that we had at the weekend, with Shakur Stevenson against my mind's just gone blank.
Yoshino,
that's it. Premature stoppage, in my opinion. The ref set it up at the end of round 5. He went to the corner and he said to Yoshino, look, if you don't show me something, like, I'm going to stop the fight. But I mean, he already been dropped round 2, round 4, got it. But he kind of stole Shakur's moment of maybe gaining a highlight knockout reel. I mean, it was round 6. I don't know what, I forget the shot that Core hit him with, and then the ref just waved it off. Like, that was just, I was so upset.
Well, it's funny. We are there not to stop them from getting damage. That's not our job. Our job is to protect them from unnecessary harm. And I want to throw something at you in that fight. It was a 12-round championship fight. This guy had never been out of Japan, I believe it was, to come across the pond to and look who he chose, Shakur Stevenson, And it was the 6th round. He had lost every round, plus 2 knockdowns. He could no longer mathematically win that fight.
No, he couldn't
have knocked him down. or knocked him out. And he had visible physical damage. His body language, he was staggering back to the corner. There comes a time when you got to, oh, by the way, did you see the, and I'm going to say this, did you see the idiot, the absolute freaking idiot in his corner talking to the referee?
Which
I don't know
one?
who that guy was. He might have been his chief second, but he's screaming at the ref. He's okay. He's okay. Well, that guy's not taking the punches.
Yeah,
that guy's not taking the punches. And as a ref, we got to protect those fighters from their opponent, from the promoter on mismatches, from themselves when they're too tough, and from idiots like that in the corner that aren't taking the punches and want their 15 minutes of fame and will send their guy back out when he can't win. So I don't know what to say to you. We got to protect them before we think about giving Shakur his moment, in my opinion.
I know. See, that's why it's interesting to hear it from a ref's point of view. But I'm a fight fan. Oh God, listen, Shakur is not known. He's had 9 knockouts in his then at that time 19 fights. So he's known as not a knockout artist. This guy was a puncher, 16-12 by way of knockout. He's deemed as the puncher. I mean, am I callous to say, you know, we do want you guys to be safe, but it's a brutal sport. And at the end of the day, like, no one's forcing you to do it. And we need to see a knockout if one could be obtained. This geezer was back at home in New Jersey, selling the highest amount, biggest gate numbers for that venue. And you kind of just took it off him by not allowing him just to get. All you had to do is he's going to drop the dude anyway, and the dude wouldn't even have got up. Then you could have just did a wave off like that. Come on, he doesn't have to sleep.
I hope we can agree to disagree, but I got to just tell you something. Our job is to protect them from unnecessary harm, and I want you to think about who that kid Yoshino, who he had as opponents before he came and fought Shakur Stevenson.
Really nobody.
Yeah, so my point is sometimes they're not matched as well as they should. And you know, you might be the exact person screaming that the guy let it go too long. If that guy would have been unconscious and taken out in the hospital on a stretcher, I don't know. But
I would have said to Yoshino, do you want to go back out? Do you think you're all right to go back out? And if he would have said, but I would have still looked at and thought, he didn't look like Jack. He didn't look like he was like I've seen fighters look like they're just gone. He didn't look like he was gone. He lost every round. He could have got.
Save him for another day, Chan. Do you know anything about concussions? Do you know?
Yeah.
Tell me what a concussion is. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Uncle Jack schools Chan. Okie dokes, Uncle.
No, man, I'm trying to work with you. I'm not trying to school you.
All right. A concussion is something like it's like a hematoma that can form on the brain. So it's kind of like a brain clot. Which that could lead to you having a stroke. Your symptoms are nausea, memory loss, stuff like that. That's as far as I know. I could be wrong on everything.
You're very close, but a hematoma is a symptom of the concussion. What a concussion is when someone, there's a lot of reasons you can get it, but just takes a blow where their brain moves in their head. Sometimes it slams against their skull. Sometimes the lobes of the brain go in different directions, and the electrical impulses get broken between the brain cells, you know, between the lobes of the brain.
The neurons.
It's like shutting off a light switch, and they drop. Okay. Now, a byproduct of those concussive type blows, when you're receiving concussive type blows, it doesn't mean you have a hematoma or a brain bleed. But those are symptoms that happen to you sometimes when you get concussive blows. So as a referee, we're measuring who's pitter-pattering with the jab and who's really dropping some bombs. And this guy got dropped twice, and he had a lot of head-snapping punches. He was quite concussed. And when I see a fighter get concussed over and over again, I got to say to myself, he can't win mathematically.
Yeah.
Does he have a puncher's chance? He didn't demonstrate it in the prior 5 rounds. Shakur
is out. Yeah, he was
then
out.
I got to say to myself, is he fighting to win or just survive? Well, he was trying his hardest, but I don't know. And then I look and I go, does he got visible physical damage? Yeah. So I say to myself, what's the best for boxing? Let this guy go out on his shield into the hospital, or do I get him out, let him fight another day? He was overmatched. That's it. I don't know how to explain it any better.
That's why you're a ref and I'm not. Kaboom. Yeah. Shouts out to you. Yeah. Because if Chan was there, he'd have gone out on a stretcher all wrong. I know. Now I get it. I get it now hearing it from you, because I've just been hearing it from everyone on YouTube. We're all like, you know, the YouTube boxing content creators. We're like, oh man, that should have went. So, a few people said it should have got stopped, but now with that explanation, get it stopped. It's fine. Yeah.
And you know, not you, but some of the same people who were saying it should have gone further will be cursing and, you know, keyboard warriors saying that ref's an idiot. He should have stopped it earlier. You know, you can't win when you're a ref.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, this is the we can caveat off of this, because
no questions off limited. I ain't afraid of any question. I don't give a shit what anybody asks me. I'll answer it truthfully. Take it or leave it.
Oh, I love that. I love people like you. Shouts out to you. Yeah. So, talking about reffing, that's what you do.
Round 1, fight.